Hi everyone, it's Corey Jones with Remax Sarnia Realty, HomeTeamAdvantage.ca, and proud sponsor of LoveSarniaLambton.ca. Welcome to this episode of Love Sarnia Lambton. I've got Chrissy McRoberts here with us. Chrissy is the owner of Dog Eat Dog. She's also city and county councillor. And we're just here to get to know Chrissy a little bit better. I've known Chrissy personally for many years. I'd like to think I'm one of the OGs as far as customers are concerned. Back when it was Dog Eat Dog Bakery was your business, and operating out of your workshop behind the house. So lots of transitions, lots of things have happened since those days. You started out building custom furniture and upcycled furniture, I believe, and dog beds. As well as, I'm going to guess, did you do baked goods for dogs? Is that where the name came from? Okay, so that's where the name Dog Eat Dog Bakery came from.
Correct.
Cool, excellent. So now through the transitions, you've changed, you've dropped it to Dog Eat Dog, and now you've got a store. And where is it located for those who don't know?
161 Mitten Street South in the Mitten Village.
Excellent. I'm sure most people have been there, but I'm going to guess there's some people who've just moved to town who haven't been there. Probably get some people come in for the first time, and when they come in, are they a little shocked at some of the products that are there? Are they just kind of overwhelmed with how many different items are there? Or
it doesn't make sense, but it works. I have added some excellent signage across the front of the store, kind of warning people about what they're about to come into.
Okay.
I used to stop them at the door and kind of, I hope you know that there's language and adult humor, because that just was not evident. If they don't follow me, they don't know, and I didn't ever want anybody to be insulted or offended.
Sure.
So putting the signs up and just kind of literally dropping a few swear words in that, and mentioning that it's not a child-friendly situation. So on the side it says I do charge a $15 fee for every half hour for my dogs to babysit your kids. So that kind of is the last thing you see, or if you're easily offended, too effing bad.
Right.
That's enough. If you've walked past that door, you're on your own, but the store is laid out to teach people tolerance.
Awesome.
So there's a smattering of the language amongst the beautiful, handmade, locally made, amazing items that are unique. And if you don't like swear words, you have got to learn to just walk past that. Just like if you don't like the way someone's dressed, you just have to walk past it. So not everybody cares what your opinion is. That's why it's your opinion.
Yeah.
But you will grow as a person if you can say that makes them happy. If that's their shtick and they're not hurting anyone, just got to walk by it, and it'll make you a better person.
Absolutely. And as you say, so many of the products in there are absolutely beautiful and unique items that you're not going to find somewhere else necessarily.
That's what we're trying to drive our own, pick our own lane. Right?
Absolutely. Now, how many artisans do you currently highlight in there?
I carry because I only have 4,000 square feet and I guess it would be 300 square feet is my apartment in the back. So we're down to 17. Okay. I can only carry 27 artists.
Okay.
To give them a fair amount of space, and it's not like, here's your 6x6 space. I put a smattering everywhere of everybody's work. And then at Christmas, so November and December, I will bring in 5 more artists.
Okay.
And this year it's going to be 6.
Okay. I read that somewhere. 6,
yeah. So they have the opportunity, if they sell from home, to just that holiday slam, they're allowed to come in, and they just don't get to be on the website.
Okay, gotcha. So they're there just throughout the Christmas season.
Just the 2 months, just to get their hit.
Okay.
These are people that I watch. If they message me, I go back through their Facebook pages. They have to have a business page so that I can see, how did you interact with your customers? Is it somebody that has a good reputation? Because now you're coming into my reputation.
For sure.
And when you leave at the end of December, I want to be able to say, you're looking for that? I know someone. They were here. They have a good product.
Yeah.
I love the way they work with customers. Here's their business card, and off you go.
Right.
What I do have are a lot of people that come into the store and say, can I put my business cards here on your what do you do? What does your business do? Like, have you supported any charity in town full-time 365 days a year? Have you done something incredible for our community? And they just look at me. Well, then why would I ever put your card in? I support stores, and I'll put them on my storyline. Again, I check to see who I'm supporting.
For sure.
And put that on my storyline on my Facebook every day. I'm just trying to hit it out. Or if you do a fundraiser, that'll make my page.
Right.
But if you're just somebody and you're relying on me to do that, that's not, I don't know who you are, and I'm worried about the reputation of me, my artists, in the city of Sarnia.
Absolutely.
So if you really want to be at my store, you would have taken a second to see what I'm about.
Yeah.
Then make that the change.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
Makes
what we're
sense.
working with. I'm not trying to say I will not help somebody, but you've got to make a difference and be on my path to get that. We're
Right.
trying to change the way business is. 10 years ago, I started sharing about businesses on my page all the time. And it started to be infectious, and other people were supporting it. They do the let's support other women businesses or let's support this. And that was great and it was growing, but they were only working in their own circles.
It's true. Yeah.
So what growth, unless anybody sees you? It's like creating a Facebook page and then assuming the whole world's seeing it. They're
Right.
not.
No.
It's who you're associating with. Who are you following? Follow on Instagram, follow other businesses that are exactly like yours that live in other cities.
Right. Yeah.
So that anybody going to see that'll see yours, that boosts your webpage. But it also gives you ideas to shift and message each other and build and create things and go from there. Facebook is about your community.
Right.
And if you're not doing, I support the community that supports me.
Right.
So if you are not doing that, you are doing the money grab, and then you're pissing off to go wherever to another city.
Yeah.
And you're not involved in the city where you're taking the money from, that's a problem.
For sure.
And people will recognize that. And you're not the person then that when somebody comes in and says, we're doing a fundraiser, can you? Right? You have to do that. And I support 7 charities. They're on my van, 7 charities. 5 of them are 365, and then 2 of them are just like they do spontaneous things, and they're not all year long charities.
Right.
But I will only stick with those folks because eventually you just run out of money to donate, right?
For sure. Yeah.
But I want other businesses to support somebody.
Right.
And I allow kids that are under 18 to be in my store. They do not pay a commission. They don't get charged rent to be there, but they have to listen to me talk about business.
Awesome.
So if I think your product is leaning on the underpriced, overpriced, it doesn't matter. And then you have to support a charity with that.
Right.
So a portion of your money has to be donated, and you have to know something about that charity. It's not like you're just throwing it away,
Right.
because that's going to make you a better human being. I'm not saying you'll be an entrepreneur and have your own business, but when you go to high school, when you go to college, when you get your jobs, you're going to be aware and be community minded, and there are responsibilities just for being in a community. You don't pay your taxes and say, I've earned my right to be here. Sorry,
That's okay. No, that's okay.
You haven't earned your right to be here.
Right.
Like, you have got to be a part of the community in order to get people to understand they're actually supporting you. And when you come to my store now in the November, December, you're supporting 33 families.
Right. Yeah.
So that is how we reach out. And at least every month I'm doing some kind of fundraiser for somebody and selling tickets or doing whatever. So you're supporting even more every time you come in.
Yeah.
And I need that to be every business and not just, it's me. You're giving me all your money and I'm waiting until my taxes are done at the end of the year for them to say, you're allowed to donate $1,300 whatever dollars.
Right,
and then you show up somewhere with the check and you're like,
yeah.
What's the most popular charity? Why don't you go out and find out what charity really, really, really needs your help?
For sure. Yeah, there's so many. Absolutely. We
Yep.
talked about that a little bit the other day, how there's just so many that people don't even know about. So let me ask then, so all the artisans that are in your store now, are they all expected, or do they all have the same kind of heart for community as well? Are they making donations to the best of your knowledge, or?
I would say half of them that I'm aware of do donate on the regular to a charity.
Yep.
So let's just say one, Kim's Accents and Glass. She's been with me since the beginning. Kim does stained glass.
Yeah.
She's
stuff.
fantastic, so talented. And her husband is Indigenous, and so they will take orders for, and I'm going to blow this, a city that's up north, I believe Northern Ontario. They take orders, and then she sends some free stuff and then ships that all up north. She made a donation. They're both members of the Sarnia Legion, Branch 62. They just donated to, we had, what did we have? I forget now. Anyways, we had this get together, and she donated to the prize table, and they were like 4 pieces. They were beautiful.
Wow.
And it's like selfless. She knows she has to donate to that and be a part of something in order for all of that to come back. She works from home. She's sold at my store. She does very well. People know her name.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stained glass people in town, but why do they know her?
Right.
Because she shows up at the other places, and not because she's there just to make money. It's because
Right.
she's a part of everything.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
there we go.
That's awesome. So now I've heard numbers, and I don't know if it was in a conversation with yourself or with somebody else. Some of your products specifically, you take the proceeds from the sale of those products for charities, nonprofit organizations. The Doggy Style Coffee. Tell me what's done with.
So that one's kind of personal.
Okay.
So the beans are roasted by Dave
Yeah.
Duguay at Blackwater Coffee.
Yeah.
I have been a Blackwater Coffee supporter for forever.
Yeah.
Probably 12 years, back when he was still at the other site. And it was time. I kept bumping and pushing and pushing. I want my own bean. I want my own bean.
Okay.
I don't want it to be here sold with you, which he has a reason why each blend is created. And some
Sure.
of them are named for the people that have helped him. One's for him. He's Big White Owl. Like, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
And I said, I need something to sell in my store, because every video that you can see, if you go back in the history of me, I'd be sitting, and every video I'd be waving this coffee cup with his label facing front.
Right. Yep.
I was a hardcore supporter. He bought furniture from me to be
Yes.
in there. That's where I have to put all my beans in one basket.
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
So I said, we need something. So we came up with Doggy Style, and that was because my 2 senior dogs,
Yeah.
their vet bills are brutal.
Yeah.
So COVID kind of came and took what reserves I had. So it was like, can I now afford to take my income and split off which is
Right.
going to be growing amount of money. So Doggy Style came in, and 90% of the profits sit in an account. Well,
Yeah.
it used to sit in an account and build up, but now the bills are,
Right.
so it's an even Steven.
Right.
I sell a lot more during the holidays, thank God, but 10% sits in an account. And when
Nice.
that reaches what it used to be, $400 was the adoption fee for a dog at the Humane Society. Our vet that had served the Humane Society forever retired, so now they have some younger vets coming in. So with all the costs of everything going up, now the adoption fee is $500.
Okay.
So I have to wait for that to hit $500, and then I go in, and what dog's been here the longest is usually how I say it.
Okay.
Prepay that. I've had another real estate group come in, and what did they do with me? We did a cute little fundraiser. Oh, the sour balls.
Right. Okay.
So we did the sour ball, and they raised whatever. I think it was almost $200, and I said I'll match that. Or they raised $300, and I said I'll throw in the extra $100, and we'll just go pay the adoption fee on a dog. And they were like,
Nice.
So that's what it's about,
Yeah.
right? That is a charity that needs it. You could donate the money to them. You could donate to the Boys and Girls Club, formerly known as the Boys and Girls Club. Like, there's a
Right.
million places that are affecting us here.
Yes.
Breast Cancer Society affects us here, but there's a lot of people that donate to that.
Sure.
But these itty bitty little tiny ones, they need our help, and they just get smothered by the blanket of what's cool to donate to. Really be invested in something that's close to your heart.
Right.
And be involved. So the Good Shepherd, with me and the senior staff and the counselors that have come on the regular, once every 3 months, we purchase. One of us will go out, buy the groceries. We all come in, we make the meal, we serve the meal, we clean up. And the senior staff have to take one of their vacation days to make that up, right?
Right.
They're invested in this over a
Right.
challenge I made with Chris Carter, the CAO. And he just shook my hand. He's all over it.
That's awesome.
He reached out to his staff, and they were all over it, and they all divided up through the year. And I've got 4 or 5 counselors that come on the regular. We're crushing it.
Yeah, I saw actually. I think the post from the last dinner you did, and yeah, it's. I mean, people who know you expect to see you involved with those type of things, but it's good to see others that also have a heart, and a heart for the community too. Because I'm sure that most people in that position do, but it's nice to see you guys working together to support. So
we don't have to talk about business.
No.
It's getting to know each other. But for the counselor side, you're getting in touch with all of the community.
Right.
You're not there for the votes. These are not the
Exactly.
folks that are voting. These are the folks that need us.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
need a voice. And that's what my campaign was about, the voice. So
Yeah.
I belong to all different organizations like the Legion. We lean a little more on the adult age of
Right.
people. This
Yeah.
isn't the young vets or the young people that want to be members. So I'm involved in that. So I'm trying to be involved in a lot of things, and I go out and talk to a lot of people. But charities we have got to look after that.
For sure.
And you just can't say, well, my wife does it, or so-and-so does it, or this person does it. If you are a counselor and you are representing our city, you didn't get elected for your opinion.
Right.
You got elected because people thought that you could give their opinions a voice.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so when words work, that's great. But like if we were in the word system and I'm from the South End, We have way more issues than any other part of the city.
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah.
buried in it,
Yeah.
where the people in Brights Grove would be sitting sweet.
Right.
So I like that we're not that, but you're only and I'm segueing here.
No, it's good.
When you're running an election, it's tough to have a job and run a campaign.
Right.
Then once you're in, the reading
Yeah.
is intense, because if you just read what's coming up, that doesn't serve anybody. It just means that you're aware of what we're about to talk about. But you've got to research that. You've got to go talk to the people. How is this affecting you?
Right. Yeah.
But like the stats, let's just take Coronation Park flooding. That's so much of the engineering and the paperwork of that. My empathy is there for everybody that has had these issues. But understanding where and how that is in our budget to be looked after.
Right.
How many people have, last I checked, and I'm taking a quote here, it's like 5% of the people, there's an issue with having their sump lines, like the coming back in time. You know, when back in the day, when you had your basement flood, you just put a line in there or some pump and it fed right back into the city water, back into our plumbing.
Absolutely.
5% of the people have allowed the city to come in and just check and see if that's a thing, because it's supposed to run out into your yard, away from anybody else's yard, kind of in the middle, and then it would flood into your own yard and your ground would absorb it and be away from your wall, but away from your neighbor's walls. 5% of the people have allowed that. So it's not that the city's trying to charge you or fine you, or it's none of that. We need to know where the core of the issues are. All the money is going to go into keeping and fixing up and getting the infrastructure.
Right.
But if we can alleviate half the pressure with just getting to know where all the water really is going right now, and we kind of get that fixed, it takes a lot of money to fix. We're talking a lot of money to get this. This isn't a $5 million fix by any means.
No.
So let's take some of the pressure off by just allowing the city to come in and say, this is where your line is going and this is not helping. But if you want to help, this is the suggestion of what you're legally what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You're not supposed to pour that back into this, right?
Right.
Just like you're not supposed to pour chemicals down the drain.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So those are just one of the issues that if we're not all checking on that, it's not that we're not getting involved in it, but the money has got to come over so many years.
Sure, absolutely.
And I mean, this has been an ongoing issue. And if it's been an ongoing issue, as a real estate agent, you should be aware of what goes on in certain parts of the city.
For sure.
So to consciously say, I'm selling somebody a house in this area, say, there is a chance that your basement will flood. This is something. And if you bought the house, then at least you were made aware.
Right.
But if, as a real estate agent, how many people have bought those houses? Who sold them the houses?
Yeah.
If you never said that was something that was coming up, how'd you earn your commission off of that, right? So that's another. Anyways, I went right off on that.
No, I'm glad you did, actually, and that's exactly it, and you know, and it's a beautiful neighborhood, and it's a great neighborhood, but obviously it's an issue that people who live locally know there's an issue, right? Where I had a lot of concerns personally was when we had so many people coming in from outside of Sarnia who had zero idea. You know, exactly my concern was how many people are being told that this has been an issue, right? So let me ask then, so the city's reached out to all these homeowners and said, hey, listen, you know, we'd like to see where this is going. Was that by letter? Like, did they receive a letter?
It had to have been by letter.
Okay.
And they visited. They knocked on doors. Can we?
Yeah. And only 5% responded.
5%. So they have a page called We the Flooded, which, you know what, if you're not on Facebook, then it's no help to you.
Right.
A gentleman started it fantastic under the great pretense of this is a place where we can come and talk about this and support each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot of suggestions about with the cement that you can, or a finish that you can put on the cement in your basement, or here's the guy to call to get the battery backup, sump pump that super does this and that. I mean, they really do talk about this issue. But if you've not had the city come, you've not changed your sump pump, but you've put in another claim to have your finished basement refinished, you got to know that's going to happen again. Right. And it's going to take years, because it's hundreds. Like it's more money than, I think there's priorities. That's one of our priorities. Do we have other priorities that have money going into them that we could literally say, that's got to go on halt, and the money's got to come over here.
Right.
That'll be talked about in budget time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't start saying it right now that we're going to just start redirecting all of this. Budget time is coming up. These are things that we have to have everything spoken for, all the I's dotted, T's crossed. We have to know where it's all going. But it is on the radar. We're all aware of it. But you can't keep rehashing and talking about this is where it stands, knowing it's not going to budge until budget time comes up.
Yeah, exactly. So, in your opinion, do you think that people aren't responding to the questions that the city's asking, or allowing the city to come in because they have concerns that they're going to be charged?
So a friend of mine's mom lives in the area.
Yep.
And when she received her letter, I just happened to stop in for a visit, and she was like, and the city. And I went, okay. And we had to talk about it. And I said, they're not coming in, and they're not going to say it's wired or plumbed wrong, and now they're going to charge you thousands of dollars. I said, that's not what it is. They're just coming in to get a scope of where it is. And visually, they should be able to tell. So I said, I'll be on property when they come. I need you to call them. I can't. Book a date, and then I will be there. So I was, and I showed up. Gentleman that came in from the city, super social, came in. This is what I'm going to do. Do I have your permission to go into the basement? Do you want to escort me down? Her son was there. He escorted. They went, they looked. We had to move a lot of stuff out of the way. He was down there for about 10 minutes, came up, and he said, well, here's the good news. You are set up exactly how it happens. Do you experience flooding? And she said, very little, like maybe an inch when it rains really, really, really hard for a long time. I might have an inch in one section of my basement. That's the end of it, and it's over. And he's like, then you're sitting pretty. Thank you for coming out. It's not a finished basement. Are you upset about that? She's like, nope. You ever put in a claim? Nope.
Perfect.
There you go. And the city does have a bit of money in there that you can put in to help get that out. Oh, and Elmon, how much money was it? I can't remember what the grant amount is.
Okay.
But you could put in to get that money and use that towards whatever if you're not set up right.
Right. Exactly.
I wish I could remember, and I'm not going to throw a number in there because somebody's going to say, but she said.
Wrong. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
She said I was getting this. Yeah, no, for sure.
But we did have that emergency fund right there for that to happen. I do get it. When everybody's upset and they come together and it becomes this, it's always anger.
Right.
I need everybody to know it is there, and we are trying to make a difference. The engineers have already put in how it's going to be done, and we've already changed things to make that happen.
Right.
But you can't halt the entire city's funding for the streets. Like if we had stopped, money goes into certain accounts, certain things have to happen on a pace. And when you're already in it and you've booked, you can't stop everything just to do this.
Exactly.
And it's not good that this has been happening for, 55, 60 years or however long.
Yeah.
It's been happening since day one. It's been an issue. So my question is, everybody knew their basements were flooding. Where's the connection? The city has gone to have to look after that.
Right.
People have put in insurance claims. How many councils and staff have we gone through since that nobody did anything up till now? Right. So I'm not saying don't dump on us, the present council right now, but what has been going on for 50 years?
Yeah, exactly.
So what has really? Who has been blaming on who?
Yeah. Exactly. That's actually one of the questions I had written down for you, or one of the statements I had was I personally, and I mean I've only attended a few council meetings myself, but I find people are really quick to jump. They see something in the news where it's maybe one side of a situation, or they see something posted on social media, and they get there's lots of opinions, right? Everybody gets and there's, like you say, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. I'm going to assume that that's also frustration for you guys on city council. It's you're doing the best you can with what you've got. Do you encourage people to go to city council meetings? Like, are you like
100%?
Yeah. Like,
so there's no real job description. That was the first thing I did when I started running my campaign. Go to Ontario government, responsibilities and duties of a city councillor. Well, there's a general. The idea is that the Ontario government doesn't want to be responsible for running each city municipality. Sure. So that's where councils come in, and we are the micro version of that to look after bylaws, because each city's kind of different, and that's why we need that.
Right.
But you need to understand what we actually do.
Right.
The city council can never go to the owner or manager of an apartment building and say, you're charging too much money, you need to lower that.
Right.
the city itself, because we are a two-tier city of Sarnia, all our cities and towns in Lambton County, we have Lambton County as the top tier sector. We each run our own, but there's joint efforts in between, like our social services, library system. So there's a lot that goes through the county. We have homelessness and the social services looked after by the county. So we can never, and nor are we ever going to build a building as the city and take taxpayers' money to build an apartment building.
Right.
That's not what we do.
Right.
So what our job is, though, is to encourage builders to come in that would build.
Right.
And maybe it's not a bribe, but certainly say, you could build this and we'll help you with maybe property taxes or your
Right.
development charges or whatever. If you promise to make 25% of said apartments at affordable,
Right. Yeah.
like cost of living, like whatever you need to do, and then the rest can be whatever. That's our job, is to try and encourage business to come in. We've got people that specifically in the city is their job.
Right.
So it's the economic side of things, the partnership. But in saying that, know what we are supposed to do before you email.
Right. Exactly.
So have you gone through the city staff to find out? Before you messaged us, we're kind of you've tried to contact the city. It's either not resulted the way you wanted, but in saying that, were they correct in saying that this is the bylaw, here's how it is?
Right.
We're just standing up for this, instead of calling me saying the city staff, they ignored me. Did they? I need to see the emails
Right.
that you sent between you,
Yep.
and then we'll work on that. Or you're asking me that something's completely not but if you want to change a bylaw,
Right.
that's where we come in. Then I would say, I'm not going to put the motion forward if you are truly thinking you're onto something, that this bylaw is outdated or it's not suiting the city or it's not suiting your area. I need you to reach out to the other people around you. Because
Right.
if this is self-serving,
Not gonna
the
happen.
tax dollars are not going to go towards helping just you.
No.
But talk to other people. And if you really have a thing and now you've gone and investigated and you've come up with stuff and I'll help you investigate, then I can, assist you in what you need, and then you can come and speak to the council.
Right. Yeah.
If it's something huge, I would absolutely step up and do that. But
For sure.
it's also our job as councillors to take the business of the city and make that transparent to the community. And that is a statement that is in
Right.
whatever duties, kind of general responsibilities we have. And I find that has been ignored.
Right.
Since the beginning of time. No one says, here's the business of the city. We rely on the media and the newspapers to do that for us.
Exactly.
Or guess what? Come out to a meeting. So if you want to speak on what decision we made, you're basing that on because you're upset.
Right.
Or it affected you and you're making it about your feelings. We can't be emotional. If I haven't done my homework before I got in that meeting and I make a vote that doesn't represent anybody but myself, I have absolutely not done my
Right.
duty as a councillor. I'm getting tax money to step up where everyone else didn't want to have to take that time to do that job.
Right.
So I have to reach out to everybody, not just my core folks. I have to
Yep.
reach out to everybody and then come forward and say, this is the vote that's being made, and hope
Right.
that carries some weight.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you encourage people, not only, I mean, if there's something that they have, I guess not a right, but if they've got a legitimate concern that can be brought to council, are people invited to speak on that? Or
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, not invited. You
request it?
Yep.
Yep.
It has to be so many days. So let's just say, to be safe, you need 2 weeks before just to make sure you're doing it right.
Yep.
You can visit the city clerk and figure out how you're supposed to lay it out, or you can just look it up. You can submit, attach as much information as you can. Sometimes we have folks that they want to drop the bomb on you and make it a
Sure.
surprise. And we've
Yep.
all sat and watched. If you truly want to have resolution and have a positive outcome moving forward, you will submit every piece of information you can on what
Right.
you're about to speak of.
Yeah.
So that we can go do our research and
Right.
understand. And then we could very well message you and say, still come and speak. But guess what? I've got a solution. How do you like that? And be able to solve it or come and speak on it.
Awesome.
Or at least we all speak
Yeah.
in emails to say, how do you, I didn't think about that. And that's how it's supposed to work. But
Right.
if you're coming in, you want to drop a bomb on here and be the, look what I did.
Right.
I just screwed everything. And they all sat there saying nothing. What did you accomplish?
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
Truly, all
Yep.
you're doing is festering like a boil. And you wanted nothing good to come out of that except running your own campaign. We
Right.
have people that are trying to run their campaign on the taxpayer's dollar. We can't do that.
No.
And I'm not saying that facetiously. Like,
No.
we're here to do a job.
Right.
So do the job for the people.
Yeah.
If you're here for you, step out
Yep.
and do your thing somewhere else. But we are literally getting paid to change the bylaws, to look after the people in the city, make this a great place for people to live,
Right.
and make the city something that the people that live here, for the majority, are going to enjoy.
Right.
And that majority is going to shift for different things.
Yep.
Playground in the south end, playground here, that bus route system, new depot, like libraries, all of that is just this moving, shifting city that everybody should at some time or another have something that really is pleasing to them, that's
Yep.
working for them.
Yep.
But you can't do everything all at the same time.
No, absolutely not. And I think and again, I think people, even though they realize, I think that, like you say, sometimes people get their own personal agenda, and they just, that becomes the only thing that's important. And it's, but for me, I get frustrated when I read things, and to be honest, I buy into it sometimes, right? I'll read people's comments on Facebook. I'm like, oh, I'm so angry too, but wait a minute, I wasn't at that meeting. I have no idea what was actually said.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's important for people to go. If they can't go to every meeting, they should certainly go once in a while, so they have maybe an idea as to what's happening. They're not just reading what the media or somebody posts on social media.
You can go watch it because it's recorded.
Right.
So we are live when it happens.
Yeah, which is
you
when?
can be there in person, you can watch it live, or you can watch it again. So it's once a month currently that we meet.
Okay. Yeah.
Second Monday? Don't quote me. You can go to the city site, pull up, and it'll say, here's when all of those meetings happen.
Okay.
There are chances that we're going to have an in-camera. So if it says that the meeting's going to start at 1, at 12, we will go, or if it's a short talk, it'll be 12:30. We go in camera, which means that we are meeting separately.
Right.
It is being recorded, but only for us.
Okay.
That's not information. It deals with something personal or something that the city, they just need to know that we did have a meeting.
Right.
And there were bits of information that is not for public knowledge. And then we come out and start the meeting. And if you want to sit there, sometimes it's a little boring, but you need to know how the machine works before you're attacking the machine.
Exactly.
You can't just go buy a car because you like the way it looks and then be pissed off about the way it runs and functions.
Right. Yeah.
So you can't be mad about something. And I get you're making it personal, but if you want my help and you want to come talk to me, and I try to make myself available for coffees as much as I possibly can. Here's the issue. Here's why I think it's happening. Here's how I think we can fix it going forward. If you bring that to me, we're on it. And I will do everything I can. If you come walking at me from 5 feet away and you go, I need to talk to you.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
I need you to go get coffee and calm down for 10 minutes and then we can talk.
That's right.
But you can't make it personal to me. It's not personal.
No.
This is about how the city runs.
Yeah.
If you don't like me personally, that doesn't matter.
No.
If you need an issue looked after or a support with an issue, I'll help you. But it doesn't matter if you like me or you don't like me. This isn't a competition of personalities.
Right.
And we have lost that. We have lost that community feel. It's all about me and my bubble, and it's about who I like or who I don't like and how I'm going to do things. And you just, that's not how we can do it. If you want results, you've got to change the way you think and feel.
Yeah.
Same as in the newspaper or the news, the way they report things. I get what's going to sell, but I also get what's going to damage our community.
Yeah.
And if you're not on the side of printing the facts and making it equal down both paths, like two columns, the good and the bad, and it can't just be from a personal, if you're going to run something like that, then it's your personal blog in printed format, but it's not a news collecting item. It's not, it has to be factual.
Right.
No news, sorry, CBC, everybody. You can find out some that are going to give us a better view of what happened.
Sure. Yeah.
But everybody lies. Everybody fudges it. Everybody puts it through the smoke filtered glasses, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. Or at least leave out pertinent information, right? Like you say, they maybe report something from one side, not both. Whether it's intentionally dishonest or, like you say, this is what's going to sell, and it's for sure, it's frustrating. So go ahead.
I'm not a political party person. I don't go for that because again, That's about how you feel.
Right. Yeah.
We need people that are going to say, I will speak up when I know something is right and needs to be looked after, or I know something on the floor is not going to be good for our city financially because it's personal, because it's not serving the majority. Like, there has to be somebody of that strength. So when somebody says, you lean to the left or you lean to the right, what I do in my own personal life has nothing to do, or shouldn't, when you step up.
Right.
It shouldn't. You're doing it because there's a majority that spoke up, that you contacted, that want that way. So if you are up there only representing on a municipal level, only representing a lefty or a righty version of something, you're just dividing a city. You're dividing a city. Do we need a playground in this area? Do we need to fix like our infrastructure?
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be personal. And if you're making it all those things, we're not doing the right job for the city. And sometimes it gets heated and you've just got to pull yourself. You got to recoil and go, nope, why am I here?
That's right.
Why did I run? And why am I here? And it's not about power, because there were 31 people that ran.
Right.
31 people out of how many tens of thousands of people in this city?
Yeah.
So if you're complaining about the job I'm doing, why didn't you run?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So you know what, your job is, okay, you have a job just like me. Why didn't you run?
Yeah.
So I took that. It's not for the salary.
No.
I took that because I wanted to see the change. I saw there were so many gaps and so many people not having a voice that's why I ran.
Awesome.
So let's have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
If you come to me and you want to be productive, the whole city could be fixed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the people that sit at home and bitch and complain about all the things that happen, but they never, ever step forward to try and make a change.
Right. Yeah.
Not bitch about it. You know what? You can bitch and bitch and bitch. There is no oil for that squeaky wheel.
No.
There hasn't been in the existence of Sarnia.
No.
It does not happen that way. But
No.
if you come forward, you're a team player and you want things to get changed, let's get it done. If it's the right thing to do, it will get done. If it's just self-serving, you're rolling the dice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, and I don't know if it was your platform, but I know that at least on your Councillor page, the things you talk about are that you'd like to see change, or you'd like to see affordable housing, build affordable housing, unite small business, and repair infrastructure, as well as create a destination city. So first of all, I know the affordable housing, that's something you and I have actually had many conversations about over the years, is kind of our passion and our desire to see, tiny homes be built in the city. And, most people would think, oh, realtor, you don't want tiny homes. You don't make any money off of selling those. The reality is I do personally believe it's something that's needed, and I would love to see it. Not only because I'd love to live in a tiny home, but because also I think there's just such a need. There's so many people who can't, there just is not enough affordable housing. Is that something you think we'll ever see in our days?
100%.
Okay.
Everybody do yourself a solid and go start listening to or watching podcasts and blogs. So the government of Canada's handing out this money.
Yeah.
Right? Ontario government, we're handing out this money. Strong mayor powers, build so many houses because they're allowing an influx of how many people immigrating to Canada.
Right.
Sarnia only has so much land.
Right.
So you think we can keep building these 3,000 square foot homes on a 4,500 square foot property? We're going to run out. So if you want money to come to the city to help us to build all these things and have places for you to live, we have to rethink. You don't need to buy furniture and send your kid out to the other wing of the house. And, your backyard becomes the new playground. So your kids are no longer going to the park to learn how to build relationships or how to have interpersonal skills, because they're not going to places other than school when they're sitting in a classroom to learn how to have those skills.
Right.
So we've lost that. But we also have to talk about affordability. It's great that you may have had a job at the plants or you've done whatever for a living and you can buy this house.
Right. Yeah.
But what are your kids going to do? You can send them now for a master's, and it does not matter when they come back to Sarnia to buy a house.
Right.
Where are the jobs? Where are the homes?
Yeah.
We have too many homes on big properties and small amount of businesses. And who's coming to shop at these? You only buy so much, but if we can make build more so more people can live here, more businesses are coming to the small businesses, More people are going to the parks. More people are walking. We're passing each other. You're sitting on your front porch, you wave. Right now, we got people hiding in the backyard and the deck and everything. And no neighbors see each other. You're building fences that are taller.
Yeah.
We're building our bigger bubbles.
Right.
So
absolutely,
we have to not say, oh, what is affordable housing? What is geared to income housing?
Right.
Right? Or government housing. So there's tiers here. And what we have right now are the people that have been living in an apartment, renting, that have saved up, but they can't afford the 400,000 and up houses.
Right.
So why not say that we can take one property where there's a dumpy house or it's been burned down and it's just sitting vacant, and clear that off and build 3 small homes. Divide that property up now, rezone and divide it into 3.
Yeah.
Each of you have that section with your little 1-car driveway, and don't complain about how many cars. If you're not somebody who's going to live in that house,
right,
why are you complaining about how many vehicles they have?
Right.
That's because everybody has to have an opinion.
That's right.
Well, we all know what that saying is. So you've got that now where they each pay a section of the property tax. So say the property tax on that house used to be, on that property, was $2,000.
Right.
One house.
Yeah.
South end.
Yeah.
Now we've divided it up. Each one, we're now going to charge, say, $1,200 for their property tax, because we are now going to pay for the new infrastructure that got paid in. So their plumbing and their sewage all got lined up.
Yeah.
So now we're making $3,600 for the city instead of $2,000.
Yeah.
And people that were in apartments are now going to be able to buy $150, or depending on your finishes, say it's $150,000 or $175,000 house.
Yeah.
You can get a mortgage for that. So the people in those apartments are moving in there. The people who are in the lower apartments can move up to here.
Yeah.
Because there's openings. And then
Right.
the people that are out here that are kind of going from place to place, or they're in government housing, but now they can afford, they'll come in, and that opens up that. So everybody's just done this domino effect.
Right.
Reverse domino effect.
Yeah.
And we all have an opportunity to do something. So tiny houses are not, there are ones you tow behind your house and you park like a trailer.
Yeah.
And then there are ones that are on foundation. You could even put a basement if you wanted to.
Sure.
And then have a deck on the top of your roof.
Yeah.
We just need to be able to say, here's the plan. Go to the city. Here's 3 versions. 1 main floor bedroom, so that it could be seniors or it could be first-time homeowners or a single person. The next one would have 2 bedrooms. The next one would be 2 bedrooms and a loft. Have 3 engineers. I need you to make that meet whatever the standards are for the city.
Right.
Now we just need somebody to build. The city's not going to build homes. But if we can reach out, I just happen to know a builder that was like, I'm all over it. I'll be here to build them with you. And we both know that's Damon Bennett.
Yeah.
So he made a comment on the page, and then he had a builder that jumped on a handyman for hire, and he's like, I'm in it with you, because they know where the money is. So if you're a builder and a contractor, and you can line up 3 of these properties in a row, and this guy's got 2 mansions that he has to build, you're gone there. Well, 2 of your guys can go over, start doing this job. You've got that fill-in-betweeny jobs that you're doing. You don't think that these houses are going to sell faster than that one that's sitting there?
Right.
How many people can afford that house? How many people are waiting in line to get one of these?
Right.
So keep building. And even if you could make 1,500 square foot homes in your mixed variable of homes, these ones will sell faster every single day. They're going to be built quicker.
Yeah.
Bob's your uncle, just like that. So why? Everybody wants to say why they don't want it. Are you somebody that would ever live there? Then shh.
Right, exactly.
Shh. They're going to look like beautiful homes. And if we line them up in 3 with a main driveway that comes down, you're only seeing the front side of a beautiful home that would tie into the same look of all the homes going along. And you would really never know there are 2 other homes behind that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So if they look great, and we're not talking about a container home that doesn't have wrap around it, like they would put siding and it still looks like a home. We're not talking about rusty container homes.
Right, yeah.
We're talking about something that
Which
looks
I personally
great.
like too.
I love container homes.
Me too. But
it's this, why can't we just get over that? We all think that homes have to be gigantic and they have to have the best finishes as my first home, so that you can be buried in debt at whatever percentage that's about to hike when you renew your mortgage. You're going to be buried in debt for the rest of your life. Or would you rather buy a $150,000 home, and within 15 years, if you do it right, your visa will be paid off, your car will be paid off, your student debts will be paid off, your house will be paid off, and you own that.
Yeah.
And then you can travel or spend your money in town or go to the theater. You will be able to live comfortably instead of trying to have what your parents already have and you're only 25 years old.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But the media makes us think we have to do
For
that.
sure. For sure. Yeah.
Retrain. What do you need? I live in a 12 by 14 well, it's 14 by 14, but I've got a wall in the way. Space. That's my apartment in the back of the store.
Yeah.
So in Mitten Village, you are allowed to live. I guess it's everywhere in Sarnia, but Mitten Village has a little bit of special things because we're in the south end. I can live in the back there. I have my fire code met. I have a 1 floor that my senior dogs and I can walk out and do whatever. I don't have to have a lot of stuff. If I see something great that I want, something has to go to fill that space.
Right, exactly.
It takes me 15 minutes top to bottom to clean that space.
Yeah.
And I have somewhere to come and be quiet, but I also don't have so much to look after that my responsibilities are so high that I just can't go out and enjoy our city.
Exactly.
So it allows me to be the councillors and sit on the police board and do this and volunteer because I don't have a ton of things to manage.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, and it's interesting. So years ago, I remember I was on a flight with somebody to BC, and they were from Toronto, and they were going out to BC, and I made the comment about how they were used to living in Toronto at the cost of living in Toronto. I said, but going to BC, it's going to be even greater. How you must be getting a real increase in your salary. And she said to me, she said, you know what? She goes, no. She goes, actually, she said, I'm not. She goes, I'm making the same amount of money. She goes, I've just decided that I want to live different. She said, I'm moving to BC because I want to enjoy the mountains. I want to enjoy the ocean. I want to enjoy the outside. I want to enjoy what's around me. She said, I don't want to spend my time in a house. She said, you eat you make your food in the kitchen, you maybe watch TV in the living room, and you sleep in your bed. Why do you need all these other things? And in a city like Sarnia, we have so much to offer. I mean, we've got the lakes. I mean, which I don't care what anybody says. I've lived in different places throughout the country and throughout the province, and nowhere has the water we do. Nobody has the beaches we do. Our parks are amazing. We've got so many things going for us. You're right. Why do you want to sit in your backyard with your 8-foot fence and not enjoy any of it? So what needs to change then in order to facilitate these? Is it just as simple as a builder coming in and purchasing a section of land and saying, this is what I'm going to build, and it's going to just be met, or just have to meet certain codes that the city has, or do the zoning regulations have to change in order to permit it?
So there is again, I should have brought some facts, but I didn't know what we'd be talking about.
That's okay.
Canadian government is setting out. We out in the county had a gentleman come along about tiny homes.
Right.
They were like log homes, a little more log look, which I'm not.
Right.
I understand that C-cans are not qualified as structural.
Right.
But if they're attached to the foundation and then you've wrapped it in something, you can insulate, you can cut doors and windows. I mean, I've had people say, but you can't. What do you have to? You can't.
Right.
That's what welders are for. You can weld 5 or 6 of these together, meet every code.
Yeah.
And you still put insulation in them. You still put whatever wall, drywall, or boards or whatever you want. Anyways, these things can still happen. It's why are we waiting for the Canadian government to say, we'll approve them, to go to the Ontario government to say, sure, we'll approve them, so that every city feels like they can. We have how many cities around us in Ontario that already have these to look after people that are homeless?
Right.
Homeless vets. They have granny suites in backyards. Other cities are doing it. Why are we stalled out and waiting for this thing to happen? We're fighting in our city right now. We had a speaker come in. Josh came in and spoke that they wanted to have C-cans for businesses so that they could have storage and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Sometimes your building just isn't big enough and you need that little something in the back. And as long as it looks good, why can't we have that?
Right.
So if we can at least get that margin in, now we can start having another conversation. But if other cities, if we get out of our own bubble and read articles about how well other cities are doing and how it's making life changes for people in other cities, why are we sitting and in limbo just waiting for something to change?
Right.
We need a builder to come in.
Okay.
So we need a builder that says, I've got 3 approved versions of what these will be.
Yeah.
You make the kit and say, this is the sizes we're offering right now. And if they came along and said, we're advertising, if you want a granny suite in your backyard, we will come along and build it to this stat.
Right.
The only cost variance will be how far is the infrastructure, the plumbing and the sewage from your house, because we have to get in and line that up and get the power. That's the only variance. It will cost you this, almost like as if it were a kit. And they do have kits, but it's not like we can build a tiny house, come in with a crane over everybody's house, and drop this on a cement pad in the back.
Right.
But you should be allowed to do it, and we should have somebody that comes along and says, for this amount of money, that's what I'm dropping there. You just need your zoning to be changed, and then say that you are collecting income, or your grandma or your kid is living back. They would have their own space away from you, or you can rent it out to students. I don't care who you rent it out to. But that's the quickest, easiest way that we're going to start having people housed.
Yeah.
And it would be under use, so it is considered housing. If we can build so many houses every year and we meet an 80 to 90% mark, we get money back as a city because Mike Bradley accepted the strong mayor power. So we're still, right, that'll bring us money if we can guarantee we're going to build so many houses in so many years.
Right.
And each year, if we meet our goal, we get the money now.
Yep.
So give us the money now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We're still talking about everything else to do with it. But we need a builder to come along and say, I got my plumber, my electrician, my guy. This is what it's made out of. It's met all fire codes. It's going to be dropped there.
Yeah.
Because if they do it, they will make chunks of money. Because somebody that's sitting in a house that's going to renew their mortgage in 2 years, and it's going to jump up, and you know it's going to jump up. Take out a loan and have that help you pay off your mortgage. That'll be paid off in no time. And then you can, so sustaining yourself is the way to do it.
Absolutely.
If you're a retiree and your grandkids have nowhere to rent, put them in there and make them pay a little bit of money towards it so that they learn responsibilities.
Yeah.
And have, instead of putting your parents, if they just need somewhere like a senior's home, but not the nursing care yet, that's the answer, to keep an eye on them, but still give them independence.
Absolutely.
Again, if it's not something that applies to you, don't speak to it.
No.
But houses used to be three different generations were living in a house. The grandma stayed home and babysat the kids while the parents went to work, and everybody lived there. And all of a sudden it was, oh my God, I don't want to live with them. And we're so far in debt that you can't even wake up and recognize.
Yeah.
We've changed from having close families that had contact and communication and supported everybody and had money sitting in a bank to being this, we're constantly in debt.
Yep.
And only the people that have are going to get. The people that are in the system, it is set up to make it impossible for them to ever get out. And when you've got somebody saying, well, just go get a job, they do have a fucking job.
Right.
But it's a minimum wage job because they can't afford to go to college.
Right.
And where are they sending their kids? Because that takes up, whether daycare is partially covered or all covered, they still don't have enough money. And now that the groceries are going up, they don't even have a car. They're taking the bus. You will never, ever get out of that because there's no job that's going to show up that says, I'll pay you $3 more than minimum wage.
Right.
It's never going to pop up because nobody's supporting local.
Yeah. And
the big giant stores, not the local ones that are in the malls, or I hate to say, they're not paying any more than that.
Right.
So you're stuck. We're stuck in this situation, and until we can start to become a community again and have some empathy for people that just can't make it work, we're there to help you.
Yeah.
And supporting local is the way to start it. Talking to your neighbors, sitting down and having a coffee and talking to the person at the table next to you. You never know what that conversation is going to bring up or what contact you're going to make out of that. So we need to make better decisions for our community and not better decisions about what serves me.
Exactly.
Like it just can't be that anymore. And we've become that world. And we've become a world where you say anything that you want to say and you don't care how it hurts people and you don't care how it affects your city. I try to be aware of how it's all going to, I just say it. I just say it like it is.
Yeah.
And there's not often that I try to smooth it or say it to whomever I'm kind of, you know what? I'm just giving you the facts. And if you want to put a tone or a twist on that, that's on you.
Yep. Yep.
I'm just here to say that here are the facts, and I've done some research and I understand what it's going to do. And smaller homes in a city that only has so many square feet is the way to do it. And we're not going to use up any good quality farmland to do it.
No.
Sorry. There's a reason. Oh, let's get on to naturalization as long as we're here for a second.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know what? The lands were the way the lands were until we started using chemicals to make grass look greener, which isn't natural.
Right.
Like how green it is.
Yeah.
Chemicals that are going into our soil, that's soaking into our properties, that's coming back out somewhere into our water. We have erosion of lands and everything falling apart because there used to be wild tall grass and trees
Right.
that were natural to our area that held that shit together for how long?
Yeah.
And as soon as we removed all that, now look what we've got.
Right.
The chemicals in our water, if you will ever go to whatever the resource is that tells you the quality of our water in the lakes,
Right.
in the river, have a look-see. Yeah, Chemical Valley affects that, but have a look-see at what we're putting back into our system. Our chemical plants can't clean all that up.
Right.
It can't. So naturalization, if you've perfected your property, say you have a 4,000 square foot property, and you've got everything in your backyard perfect, and then there are people that have really tiny cottages or really tiny homes and they frequent the park more than you do.
Yeah.
Why are you pissed about naturalization happening there?
Right.
Or at the front? You're going from here to your home that you have spent all your money on. This naturalization is bringing the birds and the bees, and yeah, it's going to bring some wasps, and sure, it's going to bring other stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
It's going to, but it's supposed to be here naturally.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we will upkeep it a little more, but the first year or the second year around, it's got to come into its own. But
Yeah.
for as many people that hate it, there's that many more that love it.
For sure.
So it
For sure.
can't always be about that, but you can control what you do on your property.
Yeah.
And then the city is going to, I'm glad that we're doing this naturalization thing. The bees are dying off.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the one thing that allows us to have food.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the food over my chemically treated lawn every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And why aren't we planting more and more trees? We made a decision to plant, I think it was $10,000 worth of fruit trees.
Okay.
Well, next year I'm coming back and I'm going to ask for $20,000 in our parks. Like peaches, apples, pears, things that grow naturally so that we are feeding our community. Because there's going to come a time when you may think you've got a lot of money and you may not be able to afford something.
It's true.
Why are we not investing in our own people?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
yeah, no, I actually personally like the naturalization too, and I know there's a lot of people who don't, and sorry to those who don't, but I think it's so important, and and I met with I don't know if you saw the interview that I did with the lady who owns Angelina Jackson, who owns Waking Up Holistic.
I did.
Yeah, and so her yard, I mean, the things that she's growing in the yard, it's unbelievable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it again. Why are we not doing more of that? I personally could do it in my yard because my dogs just pull it all out. But I mean, for people who don't have that problem, it makes so much more sense. So listen, we could probably talk all day long, and I'd love to keep you here all day. So I had lots of questions that I'm not going to get to.
Ever.
There you go, exactly. So one of the things I had for you is making Sarnia a destination city, and without disclosing a whole bunch of top secret things that might be happening behind the scenes, what would you love one change to see that would make this a destination city?
All of the local businesses working together to make one shopping hub.
Okay.
So every business from a masseuse to grooming dogs to gift stores to hotels, we have got to come together. We have Tourism Sarnia Lambton.
Yep.
Do you see any of the businesses or anything here creating a package to give to them to say, this is what we want you to sell? We don't. We all sit back and go, they're not doing anything for us.
Right.
That's not what it's about. They are doing a job and they are trying to do something extra. Me, I would love to reach out to a golf course, the theater, downtown theater, couple of restaurants that they vary, and say, we would love to make a package for couples.
Yeah.
So that it's not just this couple comes, but this couple with their friends and another would come here and say, you start your day, you go shopping at my store first thing.
Yeah.
You pick out things, everything you purchased, I'm putting your name and what hotel you're at. I set that aside. You go off, you're whisked away. If whoever wants to go to the theater can go to the theater, the bus will take the other people over to the golf course.
Yeah.
You do your thing, you come back to your hotel to shower. Guess what? All your parcels have been delivered. They're there. You've done your thing. Then you can go out to these really amazing restaurants, or you could do a little restaurant tour where the first one has the appetizer, the next one has a main course, this one has whatever will follow, and then the dessert. Then you end up at your hotel for the rest of the night, and in that bar, you can have whatever you're doing or visit one of our bars. And then in the morning, you get up, you go somewhere for a great brunch.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Yeah.
We could be offering this. And like if you wanted to bicycle, why don't we have, like the Trishaws, why don't we have anything that's taking you like tuk-tuks around the city for a tour over to Canaterra Park. Like we could have winter, fall, and summer retreats for these people. But we have to come together and start talking, and it's not about oh, how much am I going to make on this
Right.
deal? It's not about that. If we become this place where everybody, remember the sign wars?
Yep. Yeah, it was awesome.
Everybody in the city was like having
Yep.
a blast, and the businesses were poking fun at each other, and it was great.
Yeah.
Why can't we work together to come up with packages to promote our own city?
Right.
Because right now we're fighting over a couple of the adults that actually have money that can shop. We're probably fighting over 20,000 people that really do shop.
Right.
We're fighting over 20,000. We're fighting over 20,000 people to come to your spot.
Right.
Or we could all work together, improve how this 20,000 shares our posts and gets it out in the media.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they see how all these people are working together, and other cities are going to go, what do they got going on over there that they're all this?
Right.
And then people start to come to our city to shop.
Yeah.
And then they come visit. And then we become this destination city.
Right.
Why are we not doing that? Why are we not? I just check your egos at the door. If you want to have a successful business, it doesn't matter who you like or who you don't like. Let it go.
Yep.
Now, if I don't share something for a business because I just know that maybe they're not doing something very professional, then
Right.
that's a different deal. But on the whole, everybody here has got to start working together. And if we're locally owned, not necessarily a chain, like there are locally owned chain
Sure.
places.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, come shop, park in front of the building, or park 3 blocks away. Don't bitch about the parking, because you'll go to the mall and park away from the other cars, walk to the mall in the snow, do all of the mall,
Yeah.
come out to your car with bags and bags and bags to drive home.
Yeah.
But you will not come to Mitten Village or downtown or Northgate or somewhere and be pissed because you can't park right in front of that building, but you'll bitch about parking.
That's so true.
It is all
That
about
is so
the
true.
mental. I need you to stop.
Yeah.
People used to literally park as far away, closest to their home, at downtown,
Yeah.
and then would walk the strip so you can see all the stores. Stop in here, have a snack. Stop in here, have a
Yeah.
coffee. See the new store, visit, get to know the owners, go around. Be social.
Yeah.
But you're not. You're in a rush. First, you're speeding.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit. And then you park, and you're pissed about how you park. Then you spend all your time being on the phone. You go out for coffee with somebody and then sit down and look at your phone the whole time.
Right.
Start talking
It's
to
true.
people. Start
Yeah.
talking to people and be in a community.
It's
Be
true.
a better community.
Yeah.
Be the change.
Yeah. And you know what? It's interesting when you say that about the parking and walking the strip. It happens in so many other cities. How many people from Sarnia drive to Bayfield
Yep.
to walk
Oh.
the strip? And I mean, not that it's a huge strip, but the truth is they don't have better restaurants than us. They don't have better shops than us.
Grand
They-
Bend.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. And we've got, we could go on and on about how we are tourists in our own city, because we just truly are, which is
Yep.
why we've landed back here, which is why we're staying. I mean, we love this city. And so, okay, so besides besides lovesarnialampton.ca, where's the best place for people to find you and maybe follow you and learn about your passions and what you're interested in?
Well, there's my business page, but
Okay.
there's some sweary.
That's all right.
I do have a councillor page, Chrissy McRoberts, City Council, I believe is what it's called.
Okay.
That's about it. I've
Okay.
been working on a podcast
Yep.
that will come out eventually, and it's just talking about the new way the world has to be.
Yep.
About being a stronger community, about business. Sure, there'll be a few swear words in there, but it's about people that are passionate about how do we know that the change has to happen. We're passionate about making that happen. How do we just take that next step? Because everybody's got to come with you.
Yep.
But
Yep.
let's all be clear. 50 years ago, we were living with generations
Yep.
in smaller homes. We had
Yep.
larger families, and all the kids went to the park. Because
right.
why were you buying all of the stuff to be in the backyard? You rush to your job, you do your job, you come home, and then you're booked out with so many activities. There's never, and don't get upset. Not everybody has family time. A lot of people do, but a lot of people just don't, because they have to be, that you're just out doing it instead of being the very simple, sit on your porch for the last hour of the day. People drive by, they honk, you wave,
Yeah.
have a beverage, or sit and have a coffee, or just sit and talk to your kids about things in the community or activities or the goings on in the city, and have real conversations with these kids. It's not about teachers teaching them. It's not about whatever. It's about your influence and getting the kids out there to to make a better next generation.
Absolutely.
So that they're not about going into debt. They're not about just hiding in their home at the end of every single day. We're in such a rush to go do everything. We're missing it all.
Yeah, it's true.
We're like the phone's out the whole time.
Yeah.
And you're not living in the moment.
It's true.
Talk to the people beside you. If we're worried about homelessness or we're worried about the theft, well, of course they can steal from you because you spend all your time in the backyard and then you just put up cameras and lock your gates.
Right.
But if we're active, when we're out in our community and we're around and we've got each other's phone numbers and we're out in the area, that's going to deter them from coming because they don't want to have to walk through a crowd to try and steal from you.
No.
That is not the thing.
No.
So come out and do community things. And if these people feel seen and heard when they're younger, they don't become that alienated, angry person when they grow up.
It's true.
And you've just got to have some empathy. And
sure.
and once we get a grip on this, and don't blame the police because they are doing everything they can.
Yep.
If you're upset about the catch and release program that is going on, you need to get on the horn blower and you need to call your MP or MPP.
Yep.
And that is where it goes. Don't complain to police chief because he has a rule book that he has to follow.
Absolutely.
Make your phone calls. This is where community starts to be better. Come out, be in your community, volunteer in your community, and join a club.
Yes.
Join the Legion. You don't have to be a vet. Join the ex-servicemen's club, the Lions Club, like the Kinsmen. Go out and volunteer in your community and be a part of the change. You want to see it? Go make it happen.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. So last question I'm going to have for you, and it's not a question, it's a question, is this. In closing, if you were meeting somebody for the first time, they didn't know you, okay, this is going to be like speed dating, but speed friendship format.
Okay.
How would you describe Chrissy McRoberts? How would you describe yourself to someone?
Oh.
She was not prepared for this.
The abrasive girl that never stops talking.
No.
I just want to see the change. And I had to go through a lot of tough lessons in my life.
Yeah.
Divorces, single parent, just never really, all coming along. Mind you, the cadets and the military kind of added that format.
Sure.
I always loved every job I had because I made the best of it.
Yeah.
But all those lessons are now for me to make an impact so that we don't all repeat the same mistakes I made or we've made as parents. I just want people to stop judging. So you can't judge me for having a store that has some sweary words.
Right.
To the caring person that wants to make a difference in this city as a counselor.
Right. Yeah.
I'm one person.
Yeah.
You can't hate me because I do one thing and like the other. You can't go to church every day and claim that you're the best person, but the moment you walk out, go, did you see what she was wearing? Did you see how that happened? Right?
Yeah.
We all do this thing.
Sure.
Stop judging people for the parts of them you don't like. Unless they're breaking the law, get over it.
Yep.
Get over it. I can pretty much work with anybody.
Yep.
And I'm not going to hold that against you unless you keep bringing that up and throwing it in people's faces.
Awesome.
Just be the best person you can be.
Awesome. Well, I am feeling extremely motivated. I've actually been looking at some local groups and things like that. So hearing you say join something, I'm going to start looking a little harder. So, Chrissy, I really want to thank you for taking the time meeting with us today. For those of you who sat through the whole interview, I hope you did because there's lots to learn and lots to hear. If you're looking for unique gifts, make sure you do check out Dog Eat Dog. It is an awesome store. We've been buying from Chrissy for years, from the first real dining table we ever bought to knickknacks around the home. It's just amazing stuff. If you'd like to follow Chrissy on to see what's happening with City Council, definitely check out her Chrissy McRoberts City Councillor page. If you're looking for any information on real estate, would like to chat what's happening in the local market, check us out. Get in touch with us at hometeamadvantage.ca. Again, thanks for joining us and have a great day.
And I would like you to also message, if you believe in tiny homes, start messaging all of your real estate agents. The more there is a need for this, the harder that they and your association are going to push for that. The Home Builders Association, they're going to push. There's money to be made in it, and it will save our community.
I agree. Take care, everybody.